Welcome to another episode of Muscle in the Morning, brought to you by Iron Mag Labs. Make your mark. I'm your host, Dave Palumbo, and I'm here to bring you all the latest news in the world of bodybuilding and fitness. It's Thursday, June 4th, 2015, and let's get to it. Social media is littered with whiny, self-indulgent athletes who love nothing more than to complain about the difficulties faced during their contest prep. But one person you won't hear complaining is men's physique superstar Xavius Gaiden, who's currently kicking off his Olympia prep while on military deployment. Gayden finished 9th last year in his debut Olympia appearance and started the 2015 contest season off strong by placing 5th at the Arnold Classic USA. Since turning pro 2 years ago, Gayden has been one of the most consistent pros on the circuit and hasn't let little things like being on active duty military personnel get in his way. And I can promise you this, come Olympia time later this September, expect to see the best version of Xavius Gaiden that we've seen thus far. It's been nearly 2 years since we last saw Neumann step onto an IFBB stage, but it looks like all that's going to change 5 weeks from now when she brings her talents to the IFBB Chicago Pro. The former NPC national champion posted a few updates earlier this week showing off the kind of new and improved muscle that only comes from one thing: busting your ass the old-fashioned way. Since Neumann last took the stage in 2013, we've seen quite the infusion of new talent into the women's physique division. But a good showing in Chicago will go a long way towards establishing some momentum that could sustain her throughout the year. When asked what sort of changes we can expect to see from her in Chicago, Neumann said, quote, "a half-shaved head and a much tighter physique." Now, if only Kai would promise us the same. If you didn't think winning the first Miss Physique Olympia contest and appearing on American Ninja Warrior was enough to make Dana Lynn Bailey a certified badass, perhaps her latest accomplishment will be enough to move your meter. Earlier this week, Bailey posted footage from a recent training session with the bearded behemoth Robert Oberst, where we see her taking a page out of Oberst's strongman book as she deadlifts her car. Aside from being one hell of an athlete, the always enigmatic Bailey also appears to be having more fun than just about anyone else, which proves the old saying is wrong. You can have your cake and eat it too, just not during contest prep. We're a few weeks away from having some of the top amateur athletes from across the country invade Las Vegas again for what promises to be another exciting rendition of the USA Championships. And that means we'll be seeing former teen bodybuilding sensation Cody Montgomery take the stage and put his talents to the test on an NPC national stage for the very first time. Montgomery released some footage from a recent back training session where we see the former 3-time national teen champion give us an inside look at what he's doing to prepare for the stage. There won't be another athlete in the show that comes in with the same sort of track record as Montgomery, but whether or not he's ready to graduate from the teen ranks and face off against the battle-tested, hungry men of the NPC national level is still a mystery that we'll know the answer to soon enough. To quote the almighty Popeye, "I stands all I can stands, and I can't stands no more." That appears to be the mantra for former men's physique Olympia champ Marc Anthony, who looks to be headed into the Toronto Super Show in a few days with a vengeance. After being the most dominant athlete in the sport and not suffering a loss for nearly 2 years, Anthony has placed 6th in his last 2 appearances on stage. But perhaps a little bit of motivation to put on a show for his hometown crowd will be exactly what the doctor ordered to help the former Olympia champ regain his stride and turn up the throttle as he heads back into this year's Olympia looking for redemption. And that does it for yet another edition of Muscle in the Morning, brought to you by Iron Mag Labs. Make your mark. Check out ironmaglabs.com today. I'm your host, Dave Palumbo, reminding you to always be true to your passions. And make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.